Dear friends, dear colleagues, it's a great pleasure to propose you the legacy project of the Anglo Society of Europe. This project is intended to highlight the importance of some figures that significantly contributed to our profession and to our society. We are going to start today with Per Rank. And Per Rank is from Denmark. And I have to say that when I've been invited as a first-time guest, over the years, I always considered him one of the best expressions of the Scandinavian contribution to orthodontics. So the first question for Per is, Per, how you ended up being an orthodontist? Was it family business or just a choice that you made by chance?
Now, when I think back, the first time I heard about orthodontics was in 1970. I was an undergraduate student at the Dental College in Copenhagen, and we had the first lecture in orthodontics by Professor Björk.
Nice start.
Yes. And Professor Björk was Swedish, and he became professor in Copenhagen in 1950. But Björk had a very strange language. It was a mixture between Danish, Swedish, and English, and very few of my fellow students understand a word what he was talking about. But strangely enough, I heard him loud and clear. He was talking about dentofacial growth. And immediately I knew this is my field.
Fantastic. And then how you get involved with the Anglo Society of Europe?
Well, that's a funny story. I was invited by our good friend and colleague Arni Thordarson from Iceland. He was inviting me to a Nordic Congress where I should give a course. And he asked me for my honorarium, what I was expecting. And I said, I don't really care. I would like to go salmon fishing. And I didn't know that it was very expensive to go salmon fishing in Iceland. But anyway, after the course, we went out to a river to fish, and I caught my first two Atlantic salmon on a little fly. And on this trip, Björn Zachrisson was also there. And Björn Zachrisson asked me if I would like to come as a guest to the Anglo Society. And I actually said no, thanks. I had been invited a few years before and also said no, thank you. And then Björn said to me, but why? You don't know what Anglo Society is actually. So you have to come. You have to come, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. And he really twisted my arm, and then I agreed to come as a first-time guest.
That was when?
That was in I was first-time guest in 1992.
In Arosa.
In Arosa, yes.
And at that time, in Arosa, you could meet probably all the big guns of the European orthodontics.
Absolutely, yes. You know, I did not know what to expect from this Anglo Society. You know, you have heard things and you was a little... But my first impression was that when I saw all the old members meeting, hugging each other, that was not very common at that time. I could feel that it was really deep friendship, and it was people that were close friends from the north and the south of Europe. So this spirit really went into my heart.
So you basically sensed the spirit and the core values of the Anglo Society right away?
I think so, yes. And I saw the magnificent work, the cases from all the applicants for active membership, and I saw the lectures, heard the lectures, and I immediately knew that I could learn a lot here. So I was really, from the first step into society, I was hooked.
Well, then I think you get very much involved not only in the clinical contents, but also in the human friendship with others. And also there is a very important part that is in rugby is the third time is after the meeting, I mean after the clinical sessions. Can you describe briefly what was your experience at the bar and where we could get most of the information?
I remember the first meeting that was in 1992, and it was the last evening. And you know, I was a first-time guest, but I was sitting in the bar with John Bennett, a famous orthodontist from England, and Rolf Dierenberger, a German, very nice guy that passed away some years ago. And we were sitting in the bar late in the night, in the morning, and
How much late?
it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly a bell was ringing, and the bartender Salvatore, which we all knew very well, he said, "Oh, Dr. Bennett, this is your wake-up call." "Oh," John said, and then he had to go to his room to get his luggage and leave.
So it took you a few years to become an active member. And after that, how your involvement in the society started to change?
Yes, actually, John Bennett, he told me, "Pierre, stay provisional as long as you can, because after you become active, you will get a job." But the year after I was first-time guest, I applied for provisional membership, and 3 years later I became active member, and that was in Montana in Switzerland. And at the closing business meeting, I was just elected as new active member, and then I was elected for a scientific committee. And I just bought new skis, and Herman van Beek, he was so kind to suggest that he could buy my new skis because
No chance to ski anymore.
no skiing for the next 5 years.
So that was a very, very intense period for you, also because you helped all of us to better understand how to make proper presentation of cases, how to do superimposition, being one of the main fellow of Björk and Benny Solo. Which of them you consider mentors or the people that influence you the most?
Well, I think, or I know, that my old professor Arne Björk was the person that brought me into orthodontics, and he was the great scientist on the densofacial growth and treatment to his time, and his work is still some of the best we have. So Björk is really the man that has influenced me most in my career. But the next person I want to mention is Björn Zachrisson. Björn Zachrisson was a young, very enthusiastic orthodontist and periodontist, and he combined perio and ortho. Before Björn came, it was most cases had bad oral hygiene, but once Björn came, it was a no-no with bad oral hygiene in orthodontics, and I became a follower of Björn right away. And he has meant tremendously much to me and was my sponsor in the Angus Society. But there are also two other persons I want to mention, and that's Uli Teuscher from Zurich in Switzerland, Teuscher came out in 1968 with his activator headgear. And around the same time, Neville Bass, also a member, honorary member of the Angus Society, he came out with his appliances, his treatment approach, and they have been influencing me a lot in my thinking of class 2 treatment.
You have been also selected to be the president of the Angus Society of Europe. How was your experience at that point?
It was, you know, I didn't really believe that when it was Björn Zachrisson and Monica Palmer, they took me aside one evening and asked me if I would like or care to be president, the next president. And I was astonished and, of course, very honored. And what can you say? But yes. And I think when the best orthodontist in Europe and your best friends are electing you as president, this is the highest you can get in your professional life.
Unanimously.
Yes.
So then you are one of the very few that were elected also as an honorary member. That is quite an achievement.
Yes, and honestly, you know, I thought it was the highest honor I could get when I was elected as president. But to be elected as honorary member, it's unbelievable. And yes, for me, it's
And you are
I cannot understand it.
among a group of great colleagues.
Among the best in the world, I guess.
And 3 quick questions. So, in summary, how much the Angus Society of Europe influenced your professional life?
Yes, it meant everything. I think it meant that my way of treating patients, I became a much better orthodontist because I learned so much from the other members. I mean, in every corner of orthodontics, they were the best. And you can always go and ask, please tell me how you are doing this. And this is the whole spirit in the Angus Society, that we help each other. It's open. We want the other members to have success. So it has meant not only that I became a much better orthodontist, but also that I found and got some of my best friends in my life.
And second question, therefore, is, do you think nowadays we live in a time where we have streaming, we have websites, we have the possibility to access information in a very different way, but you think that the Angus Society can be of great use for young orthodontists?
Absolutely, I think it would be the best chance for any young orthodontist to be better, to be one of the best. If you want to, and you come into the Angus Society, you can be one of the top persons in orthodontics.
The last question is, you've been very successful, very much admired by all of us and by all the orthodontic community over the years. And now you are at the end of your professional career and you stop performing orthodontics, even though you're still somehow involved with Barbara. How do you feel about it? And did you find a proper balance afterwards? And you know, my curiosity comes from the fact that you've been so dedicated. So are you missing it? Did you have some tips how to get over it?
Actually, I stopped treating patients, and when I was 71, and I think that was the right time for me. And I feel very relaxed, and I'm very happy that I think I stopped on the top, on my top, and so I don't miss treating patients. I've done that. I've had my own office for more than 40 years. So I think I've done my share. But I still do courses and I still do lecturing for mostly
Teaching.
postgraduate, and I like that very much. So I'm still working, but not with patients.
Yeah. Well, Per, first of all, we want to thank you so much for your contribution. It has been great to have you in the society. You have been mentor to most of us. And so this is a great way to pay tribute to your professional career. And for all of us, this is the Engel Legacy Project, and we are waiting for the next interview.